consider that these things do happen, and they're happening at more
I understand these things.
My boy Death. Let's see how it's about to go.
Things do happen, okay? I just lived in Huntington Beach. I moved out of there a year and a half ago. You're in a very safe place. I know you're bringing up one murder and one robbery. Pretty sure Orange County has over 3 million people that live in it. I'm sure there's going to be some amount of crime that happens, but it is overwhelmingly a safe place. I don't think there's any place around there. You can go down to the actual beach and up and down. I don't think I've ever felt unsafe. Like sometimes homeless people will scream at you if you're in like Venice or whatever. But like I don't think there's a place where it's like, God, like I need somebody to like engage in physical combat with me right now, or on my behalf. Like just overwhelmingly. The deals that or the issues that we deal with in life right now are not related to combat or security in like the developed world. It's just not.
I can understand what you're saying. And Alex, I'm gonna kick your you know what. My name is spelled wrong. It's like my pet peeve. 2 N's, please.
Sorry. You spelled it yourself. I didn't actually edit your name, but I can change it for you.
Okay. All right, we won't debate this. But okay, so Huntington scares me, by the way, Destiny.
Well, Jennelle, what do you want me to change? What letter?
It's 2 N's, 2 N's, 2 L's, 3 E's. At the very top.
That's what it is. There's 2 N's and there's 2 L's.
Oh, no, she's saying at the very, very, very top left.
If that's not visible, then don't worry about it. But
okay. Yeah, I'll change it.
Okay, it's all good. But just people have hard enough time finding me with them wanting to cancel me every 5 minutes. But anyway, so Huntington is quite scary, I will say, Destiny, with the KKK being so prominently there. But that's a B-side. You're right. As a general rule of thumb, I think that that is not something that's happening every single day, but it is something that you still have to think about. When we talk about providing, yes, I do agree that there are most families today, there's 2 people working. And again, let's leave the outliers out, because here in Newport, the wife's probably not working, right? She's at home going to Pilates, buying $12 juices, happy bars, all that stuff she's doing. She's not happy hours. She's not working. But in middle America, regular couples, they probably are working on some level. But I would argue that the brunt of the financial responsibility in most cases lies on the man.
Okay.
Why his eyebrow is working like that? Y'all see his eyebrow down there? Let me stop though. She about to cook though. Let her cook.
But I don't know. Maybe you have studies that show me otherwise. Simply because, first of all, I'm with you on the wage gap. I do think women are starting to make the same amount of money, and in some cases out earning. But I also believe that as a general rule of thumb, men are still primarily making more in different scenarios. It just depends on what you're referring to. Obviously, in OnlyFans, we talked about this last time, it's not happening. So I think in that regards, it is the man still is just a little bit more, and the woman, like you said, she should be home taking care of the children and nurturing, etc. And then the last one, you said being the loudest. What was the last example you said, Destiny? Something about being the loudest, like most...
I don't know. When you say being dominant, what does it mean to be dominant in a relationship without alluding to fighting or combat or assassinations or warfare? Like.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you bring that up, actually, about thank you very much, Alex, about the dominant and the warfare. I think that we have a huge challenge with, I put this on my threads today, men and women want to be in control of the relationship today. Primarily they do. They want to control everything, except when it comes to paying for the check at the end of the dinner date, or their orgasmic potential. And then they want to blame the man because they didn't have one, or they want the man to pay. But when it comes to them actually having, like, I want equality, but then when they get equality, a lot of times they really don't want it. And so I think that this is the challenge that we're having today. If you talk about women in combat, I know it might not look like it, but I was in the Army. I do not believe that women should be allowed in the Army at all. At least
why?
Because
the vast majority of roles in any military discipline is not like active combat.
Well, I was just gonna say, if they're not roles that are like office work, etc., things like that, where their emotions can't take over and they become scattered and it's just too chaotic. And sometimes just by means of women being smaller in stature and men being bigger if you're on the front lines. And someone
I feel like if you're talking about emotional stability, I'm pretty sure literally every study you can ever cite is going to show that women have higher emotional stability than men do. But
not in the states of, I would argue that not in the states of like trauma and things like that. If you're talking
in the
about
space of trauma, absolutely. What do you mean?
Well, you're going to talk about childbirth. I'm talking about guns and things coming at you. I think that for like, if you're on the front lines, we're talking about war and things like that. And I was more referring to the physical strength of a woman being in the front lines, or being in a place where they're infantry or things like that, where it's your life. And I am 5'8", and I'm like 140 soaking wet, and I work out. So I'm not like whatever, huge muscular, but I have some tone. So would you want me to carry you out? Or Alex, how old are you? Or what's your height and weight?
5'11", I'm 170 pounds.
Okay. So who would you prefer to get you off the front lines if your life depended on it? Me or Alex? Alex or myself, rather?
Probably Alex.
Correct. And so for these types of...
This is like 0.00001% of all the jobs in the Army. I don't know why we're pretending. Like, who would I rather have controlling the cruise missile? Who would I rather have flying the drone? Who would I rather have working support? Who would I rather have managing logistics? Who would I rather have driving the truck? Like, I mean, like, there's a million other jobs in all the branches of the military than just picking soldiers up off the field and carrying them back to... I
understand that. But even in regards to when you're talking about... Okay, so that's the first main reason. The second reason is, I think that the military, and this is just my personal beliefs, we already have women who want to castrate men and become men, and want to control everything, and then they don't understand why they're not having full orgasms and this and that, because they want to control.
Wait. Can we got to do one thing, because I don't know any of the things you're saying. Like, women want to be in control of everything and they're not having orgasms. I don't know like how any of these statements are connected to each other. So let's
fully, because you don't understand how orgasms work internally.
I promise you I understand how orgasms work. So that's what I'm trying to ask you.
Not at the level I do. So men and women get erections and get wet and orgasm and climax in different ways. And so for a man, for instance, he gets an erection in the parasympathetic central nervous system, which is the rest and digest. Now, for his climax, if you will, he is in fight or flight. All right. And it's the antithesis for women. So women have to be in the sympathetic central nervous system, which means they have to be really hyped and excited and all that to get the lubrication, etc.
Okay, so parasympathetic and sympathetic have to do with alternating neural systems, basically control like the difference between fight or flight or at rest. I don't believe anything you just said is correct. Men are not in fight or flight mode when it comes to...
It is science. It is science.
No.
It's psychology. It absolutely...
Stress is literally an antithesis to having an erection. Men do not do fight or flight orgasms.
Yes, they do. It's not fight or... Listen, I was saying that because that's what people understand it. They don't really know sympathetic and parasympathetic. I was saying that for context. When men get a climax, their blood pressure, their heart rate, their breathing, everything increases. That's the same energy as fight or flight. It might not be as pronounced. And for women, why it correlates to orgasm or climax, if you will, they never get that chance because they don't relax enough, because they need to be in parasympathetic. But
women's heart rate and all of that also rises when they orgasm, no?
In order to reach that climax internally, we're talking about internal O's, to really get those, they have to be relaxed. Most women never get into the parasympathetic because of trauma, a bunch of other things. They don't trust the man they're with. They've been prematurely penetrated. The list goes on and on and on. And again, this is modern sexology, not Tantra. Tantra has a whole different view of it. But what I'm saying is that's the correlation between control and climax for women. Now, for men, a lot of times why they're not getting erections is because they're in sympathetic when they get into the area to have sexual relations. I don't know what we can say on here, so I'm trying to like nicely tiptoe.
You can say whatever you want, whatever you're
okay. So
you can say whatever. There's no rule.
So that's what I was talking about when it comes to control and things like that. The first thing I work with a client of mine, when he comes to me and says he's not having erections, number one, I check first of all, his health, rule that out. Number two, I check his stress levels to see what's going on. And then I find out what's going on in the relationship. A lot of times men think they have ED, but it's some kind of connection that they've attached, and it keeps them in sympathetic, et cetera, et cetera. So these are like real problems of control and release. And this affects your body. It's all connected. So that's all I was saying about the control and et cetera. I mean, I know we kind of got off track from the main question that we were talking about. which I don't even remember what it was at this point. But I think we were talking about the military and blah, 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 and women being more dominant. That's what it was. You're saying, why are men more dominant? And I was simply saying, because
Jennelle cooking right now, but from the look of Destiny's eyes, he Googling his life away right now. Oh, let's see what he gonna come back with.
Because, first of all, they're shouldering a little bit more of the responsibility in the relationship dynamic. And on most relationships, this is the case. Of course, there's outliers. There's dads who stay at home and raise children and all that. And I think that stuff can be very damaging for the relationship. As I've seen with my clients, they have to work extra hard to maintain that masculine energy with him and that feminine, because a lot of times men feel demasculized at that point. Now, maybe they like it, like you said, maybe they're a cuck and that gets them off. But for most men, they want to feel like the lion that goes out, brings home the bacon, etc. That's just how men want to feel. It's like testosterone. It's very something that runs through their veins, and it what's the word, negates how they are and how they protect, provide, and all those things in a relationship. But can it still happen? Yeah, I mean, there's dads that stay at home all the time. I don't think it's as common, but it does happen. But yeah, that was basically dominant. I think a lot of people in the red pill, when they mean dominant, it's more like, oh, they need to be like aggressive and all this sort of thing. I don't really agree with that. You know, I think you can show dominance with just your energy, your presence, with a look. You don't.
I wonder who in that space she's getting that information from, that to be dominant, you gotta be aggressive and loud and stuff like that. I'm gonna still stick to my premise that if you are loud, especially in the wrong moments, that's more feminine than I think is masculine. That's just me. Debate me.
Have to, like, yelling is more like intimidation, I would say, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, I think a man that's really in control of his emotions is actually more alpha than a man who goes off the handle. To me, that's more weak energy. It's like women, they find out you cheated on them, they start punching you, yelling, throwing stuff, they come undone. They can't control their emotions. If a man's doing that, it's like, wow, that's more feminine energy. Like, I guess a lot of people are now saying this whole stoic thing. I don't know how I feel about all that, but I think just self-mastery, being able to master your emotions, that I think is a huge part of like a higher level, quote, more alpha man, if you will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, that was, I don't know where we got lost in the things. What else did we have?
I'll quickly chime in. So you were disagreeing about a lot of these red pill concepts of basically the man's role in the relationship. You were saying it's protection, it's sharing resources, and Destiny was starting to disagree. I think you guys got into the first one. You didn't really get into the resources one, though.
Why he so close to the camera? Wow, close to the camera.
Well, I'm still not sure what it means to be dominant in a relationship. I don't know what that means.
Well, what does it mean for you in your relationship?
My relationships have all been like partnerships. Like if there's important decisions, we're obviously both then having these decisions together. Like I can't just make a decision for my partner and expect that that's going to be like a good like outcome ever.
Okay. No, I don't agree with that either. I think that this is something that has been misconstrued. Like I thoroughly believe that a man who's fully connected to his divine masculine energy isn't going to bark orders or intimidate or yell. He is going to guide and lead, but he's going to do so in a way that is best for all parties involved, the wife, the children, whoever's involved.
Yeah, I understand that you're going to keep saying like lead and dominant and the leader, and I'm just trying to figure out like give me examples. What does this mean in a relationship to be a leader?
When you say like you're not going to just bark orders at your partner or wife, if you will. So for instance, say I'm trying to think about something that is different than what we used last time.
Just any example. Okay. I'm just curious for any
example.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think of one, but a lot of the ones you guys don't have issues with because you're in an open relationship and you have same-sex friends and all that stuff. So I'm trying to think
no, it doesn't have to be for me. Just like what is an example that you're going to think for people that aren't In open relationships, yeah.
So yeah. Oh, here's a perfect one. I just put this on my story the other day. All right. So for instance, I think that it's most beneficial for a couple to not sleep in the same room every night. I think that they should have separate bedrooms, and because it helps to really build and keep that sexual attraction alive, for a few reasons I won't get into because it's going to be over the audience's head. But it's kind of like keeping things, that sexual polarity and that tension really strong. So
okay, wait, real quick. Let's say that I agree with that, which I don't.
Okay.
Let's say that I do agree with that. How does this male leadership in a relationship?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Say, for instance, I'm saying, okay, we're going to go look at a house today, right? And I'm the man and you're the woman. We'll just play this for fun. Sure. And I'm saying, okay, I'm going to want to get this house. It's, 4,000 square feet. It has 2 master bedrooms. Because, by the way, I didn't know if you knew that. They're building homes like that today for this very reason. So that men and women have their own bathrooms and bedrooms and things to get, that's how they're doing it. All right. So, and I say, this is the house I want. Mm-hmm. And you tell me, well, no, I don't think that that's going to be beneficial for our relationship. I think that we should be sleeping in the same room. Let's get a smaller house, 2,500 square foot. It's going to be more economical, blah, 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 right? That's your argument. I'm saying, no, we need this bigger space. I don't want to, I want to have places for us to go if we get in fights, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So in the end, who wins? Who makes that decision?
I think we call that a deal breaker. That's going to be, you either agree on it, like, hold on, wait. If you're a man and you're talking to a woman, or if you're a woman talking to a man, you're like, we need to sleep separate because I think that's better. And the other person's like, okay, well, I want to sleep with my significant other. That's probably a deal breaker for the relationship. Or somebody's going to end up making a compromise that is probably not going to work in the long run.
Okay, well, I was using a example of like people being in a relationship and then they go to buy a house. So this would be something they've already been in and then they go. But you could do it with any decision. I guess my point is like,
well, no, that way it's not about just any decision. It's so important. This is why I need an example. I've been in a lot of relationships, but I feel like people talk theory a lot when it comes to, and I want to know, like, if somebody that's actually dated people
use these situations, like,
okay, yeah, but so somebody that was like, they dated somebody and they were like, oh, I'm so happy to move in and like live together, and the man was like, sorry, babe, we're sleeping in separate.
This right here is what you call the beginning of the turning point. I've done the spotted small aggressions, microaggressions, and the miscommunications between the two. And what she's talking about, I can see where she's coming from with that. I mean, 2 separate bedrooms. That's interesting. That's a flex. That definitely will put a pretty interesting dynamic in the relationship, especially you living in the same house, having 2 master bedrooms. That's fire. I mean, everyone gonna have their own space and whatnot. You know what I mean? That's interesting. That's an interesting dynamic. I mean, that's interesting, huh? That's interesting. Oh,
for beds, and she was like, "Oh, okay."
Or different scenario where they were like in a house that was small, and then they were like, "No, I want to branch off. I want to get a bigger house. I want you to have your room." Yes, these are. I'm telling you scenarios of things that
Jersey
I work
let's
with my
go.
clients on, and like how they work.
You call me in a real just in time right now.
Navigate like. What are we gonna do? Are we in the middle of all these types of things? Another thing,
digestion
moving
right
your
now.
mother-in-law in. This is just a basic example. I was trying to give you an extreme.
Jersey way, bro. I appreciate that, King. Hope you had a good stream and all that. Right now we just watching a very interesting debate between Destiny and Jennelle. I don't know if y'all know who these people are, but I think we at the point where she's trying to explain to him what it means to be masculine or dominant in a relationship, and you know the vibes. We appreciate you, Jersey, but yeah, so like they having a little miscommunication, so it's about to get real spicy. So hope you had a wonderful stream. Definitely appreciate that. You guys joined up at a perfect time. I had an 18-hour stream. I'm exhausted. I'll be here for a bit. I say that, yeah, bro. Chill out. I ain't doing too much talking. We just watching some shit right now, and I'm not gaming right now either. So appreciate you, Jersey. W 18-hour rate though. You a demon. 18 hours. That's a W. That's a W. W streamer, W support, W Ray. Let's go.
And okay. You say the wife says, "I want my mother-in-law, and I'll be wife, you be husband now." And you say, "Hell no, I can't stand your mother-in-law," which happens. A lot of people do not like their parents their significant other's parents. And then
Wait,
you're
what she
saying,
said?
I'm not effing you if mother-in-law moves in. And then she says, well, I guess we won't be having any relationships then, sexual relations. So like, who makes the final decision in these types of scenarios? This is, I know you sit down and weigh it, but in the end, someone has to make that decision. Do we
No, they don't. In the end, you have to figure out, you've got to negotiate and compromise to figure out what the decision is going to be. Because again, like, do you believe in deal breakers? Do you think deal breakers can exist in relationships?
I do believe in deal breakers, but I believe that most of the time this stuff is, most of the time, in a perfect world like yours, Destiny, most people have sorted out their deal breakers before. But when you get to the reality of things, that is not what happens when people get married, or if they don't believe in marriage, long-term committed relationship. These little things pop up all the time. And
yeah,
so
but usually when they pop up, you have to negotiate and compromise with each other. Very rarely is it going to be like a person just saying, like, this is what we're going to do, deal with it.
I think in a perfect relationship, so that is how it goes down. But I'm saying, like, real relationships, I mean, this is why marriage is a coin toss today, right? You don't know if it's going to work. And then the second one is less than that. And then the third one is like almost obsolete that it's going to work. So
well, when you say real relationship, this is what I'm talking about. I don't think you're describing a real relationship. I think a real relationship is going to be two people talking to each other and trying to figure out a compromise for how things work. I don't think real relationships work where one party's like, oh, we're doing this, get used to it. Like, that relationship is destined for failure.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you would talk about it. You would go back and forth. But my whole thing is, like, in the end, something has to be done. A decision has to be made. And how do we compromise my aging mother moving in? And you're saying hell no to mom-in-law moving in. Like, how do we fix this? These are the types of things where I think, yes, you work out your differences. Yes, you find common ground, obviously. But in the end, one person has to make a decision. Just like when I was in the military, someone made a decision on what we were doing that day. If my drill sergeants didn't come to work, and then their sergeants and their colonels and all these people higher up didn't come to work and just said, you guys figure it out, you privates and private first class figure it out, nothing would have ever gotten done. I think that's the point.
But that's different. No, that's different. You don't need consent from privates if you're a colonel or general or whatever to give orders, right?
No, but what I'm saying,
relationship, because in the military you can't leave, right? You're locked in there. In a relationship, it's different. If one person is dictating everything to their partner, the other partner's probably like, this sucks, I don't want to be in this relationship, I'm just going to bounce.
No, I am with you on that, Destiny, 100%. I am not for red pill and I do like the word subservient, because to me, it's a very, like, it's a big thing for a woman to give up some control to a worthy man. I don't think there's a lot of worthy men out there to take that lead. But I don't like the subservient culture that's like, oh, she sits in the house and cleans for me, and I come home and she makes me a sandwich and I tell her do that. Like that, I do not F with that at all. And I know that's really big in red pill, but I am still saying that at some point in time, there has to be, and I think this is the thing that we're never probably going to agree on, is there's one person who has an elevated level of responsibility, who's the more, quote, dominant energy, meaning, here's a perfect example, Destiny. I have people who come to my retreat all the time, all walks of life, all over the world, right? Couples come, some of them married, some of them committed, some of them just newly. Even if they come same sex, I will always say, all right, listen, in the work we're doing, the 5 days, there's going to be a ton of activities, and we do masculine and feminine energy. And I'm not telling you that you have to pick a gender or whatever, but you have to pick someone who has the more dominant energy in the relationship. You guys decide, I'm not doing it. By default, always and forever, one person will say it's him or it's her, even if it's two men or two women, because they kind of know who takes the lead in the relationship, because this is just about the laws of sexual polarity, the laws of nature. There's always a balance and equilibrium for everything, from day, night, hot, cold, sun, moon, yin, yang, etc., etc. So I think that's the thing that I feel like we're probably never going to see eye to eye on, where you feel like, oh, it's equal and we just make, and in a perfect world, sure, but we're not equal, really, in the end. Someone has to shoulder more responsibility. Too much is given, much is required.
When you say more responsibility, I mean, like, different people have, in a real relationship, different people have different responsibility over different domains. Like, if I were to say who has more responsibility in a household, in a traditional household, mom or dad, I don't know. In some ways, the dad has ultimate responsibility because he's making the income that allows the house to survive. In another way, In another way, the mom has ultimate responsibility because she's literally managing the health and safety of the children, which is the most important thing, arguably, in a family.
The damn house, like, clean and functioning and paying all that
Sure.
stuff.
So it's hard to say like who has more responsibility. I feel like in most relationships, what's happening is responsibility is divvied up based on what each side is agreeing to do, and that's how it works. It's not like there's like one dominant force. Like the mom is probably making the decision, for instance, on extracurricular activities for the children more than the dad is. The dad is probably making decisions based on like work and income and hours more than the mom is, maybe. Right? But it's not like one person's going to be like in charge of everything and like the dominating force. Like there might be at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't feel strongly on something, where the wife is like, okay, listen, like you say we should move. I don't know if we should move, but at the end of the day, I trust your guidance and I'll leave the decision to you. Maybe there might be some decisions like that, but overwhelmingly, I think most decisions are going to come down to like both sides, like negotiating with each other and figuring out what they feel is like the best for both sides. Very rarely is there going to be somebody like doing the ultimatum. Like what you said earlier about like, well, if your mom moves in here, I'm not going to have sex with you anymore. That sounds like the worst type of relationship negotiating.
I'm just saying that this stuff happens though. There's women who withhold sex from men all the time, Destiny.
Yeah, that's really bad. That's a bad thing.
I'm not saying it's good. I do not.
And I'm saying it's bad. I understand.
Yeah. I do not.
What's up, Garcia? Appreciate the follow, Ashley. You follow. Let's go. You came in at a very interesting time. You watching a debate. Just sit back and ponder. That's what I'm doing right now. My interjection is coming soon though, because there's a lot being discussed.
Advocate for that. In fact, I think that there should be clauses in marriage contracts that says that if a woman goes more than 90 days without sleeping with her husband, unless it's for surgery or childbirth or like feminine cycle, that like his responsibilities are now null and void, and they can get it. Like I believe this.
Why? What?
I believe it because it's not fair that men are not being able to have sex when they are sitting there, like you said.
Yeah, actually I am, but it's probably for the wrong reasons. There's like, I'm being stalked by some graphic designer. He has legit made like 10 accounts within the last 6 days, and he's just been following me. I don't know if it was the same dude. I don't know if it was different people. I don't know if it was a conglomerate. But these past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've been approached by at least. I personally believe it's one person making 1,000 accounts, but it might be 3-4 people making 5-6 different accounts, bro. I don't get it, but yeah, I guess I am close to 1,000. I'm pretty hyped about it. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. It's been real crazy.
Probably again, we're saying like not the outliers, probably paying majority of the bills, managing the whole option of the household stuff that the wife would do. And then he's doing all that, going to work, buying the house, the cars, all this stuff, putting the braces on the kids, college, all that stuff. It's very expensive to have a kid. You have one, you know. And then the wife just says, nope, not having sex for whatever reason. He wants
but we don't know why they're not having sex. Like there might be reasons why.
Well, I just said the reason.
10 different accounts. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm more than positive. At this point, I'm just having fun, man. Cause I'm building a keen eye just for stuff. just for like whenever I see a certain type of mannerism when somebody joins the chat, like. Because more times than not, they'll come in, hey, how you... First they'll come in, they'll follow, then they'll say, hey, how you doing? I don't know, it'll just be something about how they type in, hey, how you doing? In comparison to them just immediately joining the chat and following is like, are you a graphic designer, bro? And more times than not, they are. And like, that's been the back and forth for the past couple weeks. It's been crazy. But one thing I do notice that more times than not, even with like human people, they'll come in and not even follow that fast. So that's how I definitely know there's graphic designers. As bad as that sounds, people will just be in here not even following. They'll just sit there and just watch, or they'll just sit here and just leave, or something like that. So more times than not, if somebody joins, immediately follows, and immediately chats, that's how I know they're a graphic designer. I've done the math. It's down to the science now. I can write a dissertation. I can write a book. I can release a theory on this. It's a fact. So you say they legit have me up. The ones I've been coming across, it's like they're talking from like a script or something. I don't know how, but I just know it because as bad as it sounds, like I said, they'll join, they'll follow immediately, and they'll immediately start chatting. Those are not the traits of a normal viewer, from my perspective. Not from when coming to this stream. Oh no, I'll have people come in, they'll type a message once, and then they either be lurking, or they'll just leave on some weirdo. Not no weirdo stuff, because this is a dog eat dog business, so I respect it. So if they're too friendly, too engaging, I got my red flag up, so I instantly hit them with the, "Are you a graphic designer?" More times than not, they ended up being graphic designers. So I think I'm like 4 for 4 right now. But I'm like probably like 10 for 10.
Reasons that could be either health, it could be having a child.
There might be, maybe your husband's being an asshole. You just like don't feel like sleeping with him because he's being a jerk. Maybe you got into a big fight. Like,
but that's a great point, Destiny. But maybe the wife is being an asshole and the husband doesn't feel like going to work that day to pay for the mortgage and the car. But
no, the husband has a hold on. The husband has a response.
Definitely, that's a fact. Like, also I got like 36 friend requests, all graphic designers in Discord too. I think most of my following on Twitter is a bunch of graphic designers. Most of my following on Instagram is a bunch of graphic designers. I'm going to start a league of graphic designers. I'm going to be the most powerful one on the internet. It's like, it's crazy. If people support me like the graphic designers did, I have 1 million followers. I'll be averaging 1 million views. No cap.
Responsibility to the company that he pays bills to. So if the husband doesn't want to go to work, he doesn't have to go to work, but then the responsibility is not going to come from the wife coming down on him. It's going to come down from AT&T or Florida Power, Light and Electric, or the mortgage holder on the house. Yeah.
But this is a really great concept, and I love this right here. Why is that he doesn't have to be responsible to make sure there's a roof over his
36 friend requests. Now mind you, I think like 8 or 9 of them are from like people doing the fake cryptocurrency thing still, like trying to do the airdrop stuff. But like legit like 28 to like 25 of them from all graphic designers, because we don't share no mutual servers, we don't have no mutual friends. So I don't even know how they finding my name or any of that, bro. At least you got views. Not really. They only stay long enough for me to expose their nature. I'm pretty sure there's one dude though that keeps coming back. That's the one I'm talking about. He'll stay long enough for me to see the view, but he'll eventually leave. Cause I don't know who's actually buying designs. But no offense, 'cause I know you're a graphic designer too, but I don't understand like how they're going in people's chats that they don't know from nowhere and just outright asking them to buy designs from them, and then they'll ask to DM them pictures of like designs, right? That's cool and all, but if you don't got no reviews or testimonies from real people, like, how you really expect somebody to actually just give you their hard-earned cash, like, and then somehow they're always running a deal? It's like, come on, bro. I don't even need nothing right now. Also, money to crypto. Yeah, crypto was bad. Crypto, you have to catch it at a good time and ride the wave and then sell before everybody else did. That was an interesting time, though. Interesting 2020. Yeah, 2020 was crazy for crypto and certain stocks. That was a wicked time. One person, he promised my money would double. Yeah, you was talking to the wrong dude. You was probably talking to a graphic designer. I ain't gonna lie. For real.
wife's head and cars for the kids to drive and food for them to eat. But the wife can shirk her wifely duties of being what men are literally the most important thing to them is sex for most men.
If that's the case, then you're already fucking up your relationship. But I mean, like,
you're talking about like men. Why is there so much infidelity today?
I don't know if there's more infidelity today than there has been historically. I'm not even sure if that's true.
Well, the studies are showing that the amount of sex that married couples are having is not very much, and that the number one reason for divorce is infidelity. So we know it's happening. I don't know.
Okay, so firstly, that's not the number one reason for divorce.
Well, it is in the studies that I've seen. It goes between that and.
So you mean they would come without any reviews and any real source? I mean, I don't know if they come out without any reviews, any real source. But number one, if they come and they have a weird name, or they have a girl's name and some model chick's picture they got off of Google, it's hard for me to believe they're a graphic designer, number one. Number two, more times than not, if you ever run a legit business, I'm gonna assume you're gonna have some type of logo to identify yourself, or something. Number three, if you actually really legit, how much money are you making by going into random people's streams and asking them to buy some overlays or some emotes from you? And then what? Your Discord account has been made within the last 2-3 weeks. Your Twitter has been made within the last 2-3 weeks. There's too many telling signs for me to believe that. But I'm just a natural skeptical person, and I've been on the internet for a long time, so it's just like, you know what I mean? It's not really. It can be a scary place if you don't know what you're doing, but if you can spot some. If you just keep your keen eye open, it can actually be a pretty safe place. I mean, excepting obviously the extreme cases if you get doxxed and stuff like that. Then yeah, that is a scary side of the internet. But people trying to sell you felonious things, I'm pretty sure with a little bit of experience, you'll catch on real quick. Easily.
And financial reasons, but typically they're hand in hand. I've seen some studies that showed that it was money, and others that it was infidelity. So I've looked on many studies, and I've seen both. They're neck and neck. But even if it's top second, it doesn't matter. It's one of the top 3 reasons for divorce is infidelity or financial challenges. But my whole point is, why is it okay that the husband can shirk his responsibilities as the man, but the wife doesn't have to keep her responsibilities to give her body?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it is protecting myself, but I can be honest. It's with a little small dose of skepticism, naturally. But I'm from one of those places that breathes that naturally into you, so I ain't mad at it. It's part of my, at this point, part of my DNA. So yeah, they work hand in hand in keeping myself protected, though. I'll tell you that one. But sometimes some of these people are making it too easy also. Like, come on, bro. You're telling me you look like a model, but you're a graphic designer, and you're sourcing work by jumping to random people's Twitch streams? Let's be honest. Come on.
Hold on. Okay. The husband can shirk whatever responsibilities he wants to. The consequences are going to be not paying the bills and getting in trouble for it. The wife can shirk whatever responsibility she wants to. The consequence might be the relationship ends, or whatever obligation she has, she might lose. If it's not taking care of her kids, it's losing your kids to child protective services. Like,
for on the wife's part or the husband's part?
I guess if the wife doesn't take care of the kids and they start starving or they don't have clothes, then it'd be CPS that would take the kids away. Or if she's got bills and she's not paying them, then she would lose her cell phone or whatever.
But that was hubby's fault. He didn't want to go to work. He was mad at wifey. He didn't go to work.
Definitely, Garcia. You did just stopping by. Yeah, you didn't say you're gonna stop by for a minute.
Is supposed to be taking care of household, which means keeping the house clean, grocery shopping, lunches, schools, etc., and providing for her husband's needs. What is the main need of a husband is sex. We know that. That's one of the top needs that a man needs. He doesn't need anything else. A woman needs to.
You don't have an obligation to somebody's body, or you don't have a right.
You have an obligation to pay the rent. That's how I.
Well, hold on. He does have an obligation. The obligation is not to the wife, though. He doesn't have an obligation to the wife to work. He's got an obligation to the landlord.
I'm talking irregardless of that. He chose, when you say your vows, I don't know if you said vows when you got married. They say, for better or worse, I promise to blah, 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 whatever. They're written very differently. But he's going to provide and protect her. And I'm not saying protect meaning, guns and violence. I'm saying protect, look after. Make sure you have a roof over your head, a car to drive. So if he doesn't want to do that one day, why is it okay for him to have that feeling, but it's not okay for the wife? Like, you're just saying it's okay for her.
He can have that feeling if he wants. He can sell the house or move out or do that if he wants to. He's got the right to do that. She can't force him to stay in the house if he wants to leave.
But they're going to be homeless and she should stay with him, but he doesn't get sex for 6 months.
He doesn't have to be homeless. He can sell the house and move into something smaller if he wants to. What do you mean? Are you asking why people can't be freeloaders in society? I don't know how that relates to relationships.
I'm just saying that if he chooses not to shirk his responsibilities, not go to work because he gets mad, like women do this to men, they will go.
No, hold on. You're comparing two dissimilar things. One is a responsibility to an external loner, right? That's not the responsibility of your wife, and you're comparing that to the responsibilities a wife has to a relationship. If a wife wants to fail in every part of the relationship, she has the right to do so, just like a husband. The husband's responsibility to work is not to the wife, it's to the person that owns the house or owns the loans that he's paying off on.
Irregardless of his credit score tanking, I'm talking about the responsibility he takes to protect and provide, and I'm not talking about protect and make sure that his wife and children, his seed, are safe. They're in a house, that they have food to eat, that they have a car to drive, that they can go to school.
He doesn't have an obligation to any of that. If he's like, fuck it, I want to move to a smaller house, he has the right to do that.
I'm not even saying like a smaller house. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying that he says, I don't want to do this because you said you're not having sex with me until you let my mom move in. And sometimes that could go on for 6 months, 9 months. So then he says, okay, great, you're doing that. I'm not going to work for 6 or 9 months. So then we just go back and forth. I'm saying, why is it okay for him to shirk his, but wifey can't say, you know what?
Nah, player, just get you another girl, man. That's crazy. I never understood that, how people can be married and they can go 6, 7, 8, 3 months, no sex. I don't even want to laugh. I want to jinx myself. But that sounds dead crazy. But right now, it's hard for me to keep up this debate because I feel like they both dancing around a point, or I don't know. I don't know if that's Destiny doing that or that's Jennelle, but it's just like we're not getting to a concrete point right now. Maybe they should go a different example or a new topic, but let's see.
I'm not having sex with you, and that's okay for her to do that. Like, I don't think that should be allowed. Like,
okay.
if
I've already explained it. Like, if the husband wants to divorce the wife, he can, but the husband can't like avoid work responsibilities because of a problem with his wife.
Well, he can if he wants to, and then his credit will tank. I'm not talking about his obligations to the power company, the gas company, and his renters or the mortgage. I'm saying his responsibilities as a man to protect and provide for him, his wife, and his seed. Like, this is something that he has to do, regardless if he feels like it, regardless if wifey is not sleeping with him or giving him handy J's or BJ's. Like, he still has to do these things. And I don't think that that's fair. And
I disagree. I don't think a husband is obligated to work for his wife, especially if she's like failing to live up to her standards.
But that's my point. Then we're agreed. I'm saying then grounds for divorce are there. If she's not meeting her wifely duties, then if he wants to leave for that reason.
This big ass message that came on the screen. 3 biggest relationships I'll give my younger self. Screen very carefully from the start for a woman who's very compatible with you and is looking for the same thing as you. Always be honest, never jeopardize your partner's trust, learn empathy and how you can see things from other person's perspective. That'll definitely minimize fights. Good communication and sex is most of it. Okay, this is somebody else. I thought that was the moderator who sent that message in.
She should,
Then he can leave. He's fine. He can leave then. There's no problem there.
The contract should be null and void at this problem if a wife goes more than 90 days without providing for his sexual needs. That's a need too. That's
sure,
all.
And if he wants to divorce at that point, I'm pretty sure he can.
Is she making? She's spitting facts right now. Marriage can just be. What did she say? Let me let her talk. She said the contract should be null and void.
Yeah, I didn't read the comment. Can you read that, Alex? It was long.
Yeah, I would just wrote this for the chat and I wanted to share it. The 3 biggest relationship tips I would give my younger self.
That was... Why did he just stop the debate and be a moderator and put that, like, add that into the discussion? He typed that into the chat and just placed it on the screen. What a demon.
Being very careful from the start for a woman who's very compatible with you and is looking for the same thing as you. 2, always be honest and never jeopardize your partner's trust. 3, learn empathy and how you can see things from the other person's perspective. That will definitely minimize fights. Good communication and sex is most of it.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot, but that's very good. Thank you for that, Alex. I appreciate that. No, I mean, I think we do agree in some respects on that. I don't condone women who don't provide for their husbands or long-term relationship man's sexual needs, but yet expect the man to provide for them housing, food, $12 juices, $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would agree with that. If your wife's not doing shit for you, then you should probably just break up with her. I don't know why you would continue to do shit for her. Like, I mean, but the idea that like you're obligated to provide sex to your husband, like you're not obligated to it. If the relationship's failing, or if you don't want to, or whatever. But then also he's got the right to leave you if he wants to as well. Like,
well, yeah, but we know that that's not the case. That women are the ones who are primarily filing for divorce. Men are more prone to stay to protect their assets. Children, they know that women are primarily granted the children unless there's some other crazy stuff going on. So
sure. I mean, women are probably filing for divorce because they have all the incentive to. If you're a guy and you just like leave a relationship, why would you care about filing divorce or not? Woman is going to have to if she wants to qualify for benefits, if she's not financially reliant on the husband anymore, if she needs to be able to do things with her children. Like, of course, it makes sense that the woman's going to be the one to primarily file for divorce. If you're a guy, you don't care. You just walk away. Who cares?
But I'm saying that women are the one to initiate it. Men will stay because they want to protect their resources. They want to make sure they get to see their kids because we know the system.
If you want to see your kids, you can go do the kid thing in court. If you want to protect your resources, that's not a good reason to not get divorced. It's
what a lot of men do today. Trust me, because it's sticky in divorce. Like I know from the highest profile, some of my clients who are some of the best professional athletes in the world, and just regular clients who make a ton of money. It takes a long time to go through divorce to undo all that stuff and to see who gets what, and it's just a lot. And so a lot of men will stay in it, and then they'll just step out and cheat or have arrangements with other women, hence OnlyFans culture and all the stuff that happens with that. So men are just like, I'll just stay, deal with it. Where women are like, no, like you said, I want to get my check, I want to get this, etc. And so they're the ones who ultimately will file. Like, yeah, I agree with you on that, but I just think that it's a double standard. I think that's the word I was looking for. It's a huge double standard, and not in the men's favor in regards to the lack of sexual attention that's being given to the men, but yet the women want the $30,000 wedding. You know, the average wedding costs around, $20,000-$30,000, and that's in like regular income, not talking about, higher income brackets. So
that's your fault. If you're dumb enough to get a $20,000-$30,000 wedding, then that's on you. I don't know how it plays into double standards at all. Like,
I'm just saying that women are expecting a lot when it comes to wedding and being provided for.
I think plenty of women would be happy with a nice, happy guy that they don't have to have a $20,000-$30,000 wedding. Also, isn't the custom that isn't it the bride's parents that pay for the wedding anyway? Isn't that the customary thing?
I think that's pretty outdated now.
Okay, then I would say it's outdated for a woman to expect a $30,000 wedding. I don't think that is the norm.
I think it is too, but from what studies are showing, it's pretty expensive now today. And this is, you have social media. People want to keep up. Oh, I saw her have this wedding and this. And I'm just saying the expectations of a man to come up with coin, obviously, and do all these things, but then yet his sexual needs are put on the back burner. I don't think that's right. And that's my only thing. It's like, why are we looking out for men? If men are taking care of a woman and giving her a dream wedding, a house, a car, $12 juices, Pilates classes, Lululemon yoga pants, red bottom heels, all this stuff that women want today, nails, lashes, all that stuff takes money.
You're talking about Miami women. The average woman is not looking for nails and money and all this. Like, you're talking about a crazy out there lifestyle. I think most people are generally happy. Like, if you're not having sex with your husband, it's probably because something isn't working. I think most women probably want to have sex pretty regularly with their husbands. I think that's something most women want. That's something most women in relationships want, even outside of marriage.
I think most of the time, unless things like childbirth comes in and that changes the dynamic. And that's typically when couples start seeing the change, is because her hormones shift. She's more concerned now about her kid. She puts her kid in front of her husband, and then her husband's needs go to the wayside, as she should take care of her kid. Absolutely. I'm not saying to neglect your child in any way, shape, or form.
I think that a lot of what happens post-childbirth isn't necessarily hormones. I think it's probably the wear and tear and the tiredness of dealing with a child. Because now you've got like a new thing that's crying, you gotta wake up.
I think it's an excuse. I breastfed my son around the clock every hour until a very uncomfortable until 3.5 years old. And I went to school full time, and I worked and saw my clients as I was building my practice. And I still had an active sex life with my boyfriend. So I think it's an excuse. Women use pregnancy as an excuse to sit on the couch and get fat, eat for two. Then when the baby comes out, they're like, I can't have sex. It's like, come on. It's an excuse. Yes, there are instances.
She's spitting right now? Listen, I'm just listening to content. I ain't say nothing. That's her talking. She's going in right now. These is facts? Oh.
This is Destiny, when there are extreme things that happen, colicky babies, things like that. Things that, yeah, it happens, but women are very resilient creatures. Obviously, we give our yonis expand this much for a head, and then we come back in 4 weeks. You're ready to go again. At least I was. So, I just think that women like to use a lot of excuses for bad behavior, but then they hold men to a really high standard. You have all this bad behavior, but it's like, hold on, like, let's if we want to keep things balanced here and equal, let's keep it equal. You should be, like postpartum, once she's healed and all that stuff, like she should be back to work. And that means back to work, I'm not talking about in the workplace. I'm saying fulfilling her husband's sexual needs. Like he has needs too. Shouldn't just all go into the child. And I think this is a huge problem. Or when I talk to my clients, they say the moment they saw the relationship decline was after the first kid, second kid, third kid, like over. Then the women blow up. And you want to talk about middle America women? Yeah, they blow up for reals, blow up. The husband's lucky if the wife goes to get her nails done. Like, he's like, please go get your nails done. Like, clean up a little bit. So I want to F you. I don't know. Might be harsh, but I think if we had the harsh reality, we might be able to change some things.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, great. I feel like this has been a great conversation. I appreciate the good.
Well, you guys already finished? I feel like we're just getting started. What are some other disagreements you have with Destiny?
I don't know Destiny that much. I feel like I like him better this time, probably because I'm feeling better.
You can use him as an avatar for his wife. I believe they believe most of
I don't like Melina. Man, I was watching some of the things today. No, I don't like her. That's a bad thing to say. I don't like how she portrays herself. But
just talk about the things you disagree with Melina on, and Destiny can give his perspective.
When she was saying, okay, so this is one of the ones that I just posted recently. And she was saying, oh yeah, the personality matters the most. And here's the thing. I do agree with, there was a lot of things I was like, well, I really do agree with Melina on some of these things. But then the other stuff she would attach to, I was like, dude, you just like crumbled that. Because she was saying like, yeah, I'm not with Destiny because a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, you're just with him because he has a YouTube channel and he makes a lot of money. I don't know if that's true. It's none of my business. I don't really care. But if it is, congratulations, Destiny. Survival of the white man. So I love it. I love to see white men doing their thing. No offense, y'all. Being that I'm not white. But so she was saying, oh yeah, if you had been poor and not had a channel, just someone with 100 subs, that you wouldn't have they were saying, Melina, you wouldn't have talked with him, you wouldn't have effed with him if he wasn't Destiny, this gamer person, larger than life personality who makes a ton of money and is famous on YouTube. And she said, that's not true. And they were like, cap, bro. Like, and at this time, Destiny, I thought you were a girl. I really did. I'm sorry, no disrespect, I did. I didn't know who you were. And I was like, come on, dude. Like, and then she said, no, I'm with him because I like his personality. He has a great personality. And I care about that. And then I simply said, bro, come on, personality is great, but if he doesn't have any money to provide for you, provide meaning a house, you don't have a car, you're homeless, are you still going to stay with him?
Hold on.
The only reason I might be disingenuous to what she claiming his wife is saying is from my knowledge. Destiny took his wife today from one of his supporters. If what I've seen on the internet is true, so she might be on to something. She cooking right now, but my boy getting ready to go. Look at him, he's ready to go crazy right now.
You're changing up so much right now. You do this weird hyperbole thing. There's a huge difference between I want to be with a millionaire versus I want to be with a guy that makes it so we're not homeless.
Well, I wasn't saying a millionaire. They were just saying, listen, if he didn't have money,
well, sure, but like just because, if a woman says I don't think I would date a guy who we couldn't afford a place together, that doesn't make her a gold digger. I mean, she's going after guys just for money. I think that's a fair baseline to have for a relationship.
But she wasn't even saying that. She was saying, yeah, like this person, and I was like, bro, like you need. It's nice that you like personalities. I think that's important too. That you have to have shared values, multiple intimacy, mutual trust and respect, and sexual polarity of all most important. And she was saying like, no, like I don't care if he didn't have any money, I would still be with him. And I was like, Cap, come on, bro. Like some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, God, I agree with you, but then you totally just undermined it. That was.
Do you think it might be more of a reflection of your personal belief system and you being incapable of seeing how other people could see relationships rather than hers?
No, I just said I agreed with her that personality is important, but she was literally saying like that she would be with someone who had no money, and I was like, that doesn't make sense because you need money. I'm not even talking about
Yeah, but
millions.
she also works. Chances are she'd probably be okay working if I like took care of the house. She'd probably be
Well,
okay with that arrangement.
well, that was the next question, and they were saying, would you? And they asked all of us, would you be with someone who makes a substantially less amount of money than you? And I said, absolutely. I was one of like two people that said it, maybe three, maybe her. Yeah, I've been with someone, but there was a few huge caveats with that, and I'm going to say huge pun intended. He was 6'8" and he had a huge eggplant, so I was happy because I make money. I don't and I'm honest, and that's the thing people don't like about me is that I'm very honest and I put myself out there because I'm just being honest. But I think that she was really saying like he makes no money, I'm okay with it. It's like, come on, bro. Like you're
I think she would probably be okay with an arrangement where I'm taking care of the household and she's making all the money. I think she would probably be okay with it. I don't think she's lying when she says that.
I would believe now that I would believe because she's more in the masculine energy, 1,000%.
Then nothing she's saying is a lie.
In my personal opinion, I feel that's why I thought you were a woman. Again, no disrespect. I thought you were a woman because I was like, wow, this woman looks feminine in her little frilly yellow dress, but she's very masculine. That
okay,
was my
so you're all over the place. So then her original statement holds true. She probably wasn't lying.
with which original statement?
That she probably would be okay being with me if we were just if she was earning all the money and I was like a stay-at-home, like taking care of the house person. We'd probably need a kid or something.
No, and that part I can agree. And yeah, you guys probably have a very nice kid. But I was saying that I did not agree with her when she said she wasn't with you for your money. I was like, come on, because
okay, if she was with me for my money, no offense to me, but like we've been in LA, we've been around the world. There are way richer guys that she could upgrade from me to.
Well, I mean, from what I heard, and I don't know, this is super messy. I don't know, but there was like a bunch of drama with her ex, who I actually personally know, she was with before you, and they were kind of saying, yeah, that's why she left him because he was not as successful as you.
Hold on, wait. Which ex?
Or maybe I didn't understand it correctly, but they were. His name is I can't think of his name. He lives in Japan.
You don't know any of her exes. Number one,
what they were
sure,
saying.
I understand. I'm just saying, number one, you don't know any of her exes. And number two, the guy that lives in Japan you're thinking of is probably MLD.
Yeah,
yes, never Melina's ex. No, that is not true.
So that was a whole nother just lie that they were spreading about her. And then I talked with him, and he said there was a lot of stuff that was going on.
Yeah, Destiny. If MLD dated your wife, I'm gonna have to stop platforming you. That's a pretty. I just can't respect you as a man if that was the case.
Okay, so I misunderstood the dynamic. I thought that was his ex, and I feel like I could pull up the message right now, and he said that, but maybe I'm tripping. But yes,
he might have said it because he talks a lot of random shit. But no, they've never dated before. No.
They've never dated. So what was the connection then with them?
They've just been on shows before, and she kind of like lit him up, and he hates her, and he's upset and asked mad about her now. But they've never dated before.
They never dated. So what the audience was saying was they were making it sound like they were a thing, and then she upgraded from. They said her previous boyfriend were a huge upgrade, and she left him for you. So
sure, she dated another guy, and then she eventually left him, and then we started dating. That's true.
Okay, and
but like, if we're gonna say, what?
Was he less successful and less handsome? Just like with the last.
He was probably less successful, yeah, but he was also like probably like 12 years younger than me.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's not like a knock on him, right? But I'm also probably more compatible with Melina than he was. But also, this is a person she started dating when she was 18, right? Oh. So I like the idea that relationship was going to last forever. Number one, but number two, let's buy into the total red pill thing, and let's say that she saw me and she was like, okay,
what was his point of bringing up that she was dating him since he was 18? Does that make it okay that he took her? He took her from him. Yo, it's a dog-eat-dog world, bro. He's gonna take your chick and blame you for it. That is crazy.
He's more clouded, he's more wealthy than my boyfriend. I'm just gonna go ahead and upgrade to Destiny. Why is it that as soon as we moved to LA, like, why didn't she just upgrade to somebody even more wealthy? She could absolutely find somebody more wealthy than I am and more clouded than I am, 1,000,000%.
But I will say, to answer that question, and no disrespect to Melina, because she seems cute. I mean, I don't know. She seems cute and flirty and feminine, and in some respects. But when you look at her, of course, she starts talking. But isn't the pool in LA, like, I know because I live not far from there, the pool in LA for viable, wealthy men, it's like pretty small, and a lot of women, a lot of models, a lot of influencers and chicks are trying to go for that very small percent of men who I don't know. I assume you're in the 1%.
Without getting like too crazy into things, like Melina has banged like A-list Hollywood actors, and the pool in LA of people that whose body isn't, not to knock on anybody, isn't like 70% plastic is very, very, very small. I think that Melina, for as much as people want to shit on her, I think she would do very, very, very well in literally any dating market in any part of the world. I don't think that Melina would go to, as a 24, 25-year-old Swedish 5'5", athletic, beautiful woman is going to go to LA and be like, oh my God, I can't compete with all these 27-year-old women working at Starbucks trying to make it as actresses that all have too many lip fillers. I don't think that would ever be a problem with her. So no, I disagree. If she wanted to upgrade, if Melina wanted, I would say this 100% confidence, if Melina wanted to upgrade from me to a more popular, more successful, more wealthy, either mainstream actor or YouTuber, she absolutely could do it in a heartbeat. 1,000,000%.
Well, good on her for that. I was just saying in general that there's a lot of young women going for very wealthy, affluent men in LA.
That's fine if you're going to say in general. We're not talking in general. You guys are making specific claims about her or our relationship. Like,
no, I mean, I really didn't make these claims. This is just what I heard, and I didn't know who she was or you were from Adam or Eve, so it was all like, oh, okay, interesting. All right, she just upgraded to Destiny. Cool. I wonder if she's, like, whatever. Like, what are her plans next? Who's she going for next? But, I mean, I believe, if you guys love each other, it is. Will say, for the record, I'm so annoyed with people saying my lips are not real. They are real, but I do like to use hyaluronic acid, so thank you very much for that.
I don't know if yours are or not. Like I said, I'm not making any personal. I have no idea who's gotten what work done here. I don't know if Alex's lips are real, but I was just saying, like, in general, like, yeah.
My lips
Alex,
are very real.
Are your lips real?
They're extremely real. I got those thick Russian lips. I will say this. I've done a lot of Tinder experiments where I use like a profile. Let's see what we've done. We've done a girl who weighs 400 pounds. We did my mom with AI, making her look like she's 80 years old. We've done me, we've done the craziest Tinder experiments. Every single time, there's guys that I think most red pillars would consider high value man, dudes who are like doctors and shit, who are like 6'3", who are matching with the very unattractive girl, begging to get her out on a date. So I think that, yeah, I do agree that Melina could probably
do better than me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm lucky for you, Destiny. Obviously, she's with you, so she loves you. And listen, if it's love, it's love. I'm all for it. I'm actually officiant, so I do weddings, and this is a part of what I do. So it's all cool. I'm with it. I think I don't know you guys, so I'd have to spend more time with y'all to learn more or watch more of your content. That's probably what I'd have to do to really get more of an understanding of everything you do. But
Jennelle, do you have any other substantive, like,
I have no time.
What?
I said, but I raise a son and run an international business, so I have no time to watch other people's content like that.
Hey, what's up, Jen? How's it going? What you getting into right now? I was just watching the debate right now, switching it up. Didn't want to just get right into playing games today. I wanted to, chillax today. And watch some engaging content. Yeah. Oh, no problem, Jen. Hopefully all is well with you.
I was gonna say, do you have any other like substantive, like whatever, like idea disagreements with Melina, like stuff that she actually says, not so much her like personal life that you
I have to think of some of the other like main things she said. She I don't really want to get into it, but she did talk a lot about like the whole what is it that men aren't, or women are more logical than men, and men are more emotional than women, and stuff that I just think is like purely not factual at all. But I think that I think Dustin and Melina are perfect for each other, simply because they both have a very like fluid view of like relationships and gender and life and open and this and that. And so I think for them that works really well. And I love to see people that match each other and their polarities like sync. But if I had to be outside looking in, I would definitely say that Melina's the man and Destiny's the woman. But when
wait, hold on, I'm so curious. In what sense?
And I was just, you cut me off, because when I'm with you right now, one-on-one, you're definitely more the masculine energy, even though when I'm on podcasts, I come across that way as well, just to get my point taken kind of seriously, because I am women and I have fucking big boobs. So obviously, like, I have to work harder, and I get that. I'm not an idiot. I'm actually quite smart, regardless of what people might think. But on the show, when I met her and heard her talk and how she like portrayed herself, despite her cute little yellow dress, like, I was like, oh man, like and then I heard some really sexual personal stuff that they were talking about, like on well, I guess it wasn't personal because they were saying it in front of freaking the whole podcast. So they were saying sexual preferences like pegging and things like that you like. And so I was like, okay, so she's definitely more the man in this relationship.
Hold on. So, okay, hold on. Firstly, I don't like pegging, okay? Number one. But secondly, even if I did like pegging,
yeah, that got my attention. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just trying to, switch it up. People these days really like this edgy content, you know what I mean? But I gotta be careful about what videos I put up, because I'll be watching some stuff that'll definitely get me banned. Not in a bad way, but just like ban people from YouTube and whatnot. I think just pretty much YouTube. I turn on my YouTube stream, everything will be pretty good. I'm not even on YouTube right now, so I pretty much can't watch anything. But yeah. Yeah, this is pretty much what I'll be watching, what I'll be listening to when I'll be playing Diablo, so I just thought I might as well, show the people them. Show them how based I am. Like I said, hey, like a hoodie hookah. Okay, it's really hard. Oh, it's really hard to gauge people. Oh yeah, definitely. Especially out here in the West. You can be talking to anybody at any moment. No cap.
How does that necessarily make somebody a man or a woman in a relationship?
Because it's definitely like when you talk about dominant and submissive, if you know like anything about the real BDS world, not 50 Shades of Grey, all that is BS, but real, like the whole being submissive and taken, and that whole dominant feeling, and this thing that very successful men like, to be taken and to feel like they're small and more feminine and less in control. That is one of the main things they want. They want to be
but like a submissive in the bedroom doesn't necessarily translate to a submissive in real life.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I agree with you on that. Yes, primarily.
Okay, let me push harder, because I feel like every single thing you say about sex is insane, okay? For the few women I know that have done like escort work or whatever, most of the ones that talk about the guys that do actual cuckolding or actual pegging or whatever, surprisingly, and this is counterintuitive for me because I would have expected to be the other way, they tell me that most of these men are usually incredibly successful, incredibly like type A alpha people when it comes to their work, their profession, the amount of money they make, and every other sense. If you saw these guys in real life, these are like the type A people.
I know. I've been in the industry. I was in the industry for 10 years before I did this.
And then these are the guys that like behind the scenes like want to do like the hardcore like cuckoldry or the crazy BDSM submissive stuff.
All of that. Trust me, I know. And you're right. They are very dominant and very successful in life. Correct. Most of the time that is correct. However, there's like a side of them that has been sort of adulterated because they've spent so much time and so much energy.
They cooking right now, or where they getting these stats from? This sounds crazy. But yeah, it's hard to be the person whom others think who you are negatively. I feel you on that one. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's hard. People just have like a certain image they got of you in their head, and like obviously with time, obviously you're gonna grow and change. But some people just want to see you in that same image for the rest of their life for some reason, and it'd be like, I don't know. With people like that, you gotta put a little distance between you and them, or just cut them out, because that's just bad for you. Because whoever respects you to stay the same your whole life is pretty crazy. For them to have that type of belief on you, or who knows? Maybe you're comfortable being the same person for your whole life. Who knows? Yes, what you gotta do. Yeah, let's go. W networking though. Let's go. Wow.
Controlling and building very successful companies, or doing things that are very, very minute. For instance, someone I know personally is one of the best oral reconstructive surgeons in the world. He does Doctors Without Borders, he repairs cleft palates, etc., and he enjoys this type of stuff. I won't put his stuff out there too much. So yes, but when you see him, you're right. He drives a Maserati, he's very successful, blah, 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 but then he has this other side. With that being said, that that like desire that's so innate inside of them to be taken and to be ravished in a way that's typically done with this man consuming a woman, it does shift the polarity. And in that moment, you're right, they do become more feminine. And that's the only reason when I heard this, which I don't know why people are saying those things about you, and I'm so sorry that they were doing that. I just assumed, oh yeah, she wears the pants, and this guy is definitely. It was less about the pegging and more about how she was controlling the conversations and things like that, and how she was talking about you. And I was like, oh, okay, well. But then when I'm in with this dialogue with you, I'm like, yeah, he's alpha, if we are going to put that label. So I guess I'd like to see you guys. This would be interesting if we had you and Melina and me and a master teacher that I work with on, who's like ex-NFL player. Like, I think that would be an interesting like debate. I would like to see you guys in tandem and how that polarity dynamic works, because I've only seen you guys separately, you know, and it's just totally different.
Oh, okay.
It's like, do they even know each other?
I know. This is what I'm saying. Like, do these people, like, he doesn't like pegging, and apparently she was like, everyone was saying that, and I thought she was kind of co-signing that, but maybe I was.
Well, because it's probably something that she enjoys doing. But this is one of the reasons why we have open relationships, right? Is that like there might be different things that we have sexual appetites for that other people can fulfill that that either she or I can't, right? So if she's really into pegging people, I'm probably never going to be into that, but she can find some other guy that is.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, if that works for y'all, like, I am very happy, because I want to see people really happy and like not fake superficial relationships, real ones. And it sounds like you guys have found like that perfect match.
Just make sure you get your prostate checked every year. If you want to.
Yeah, despite what people are saying on the internet, which the internet's a wild place. I mean, people say some wild stuff about me too. But
all right, let me pose this question to Destiny. Destiny, what are like you've been doing a shitload of red pill debates. I feel like you're extremely caught up on the topic. What are like the biggest disagreements you have with the big red pill channels? Like, what are the biggest things you disagree with Myron about?
Like everything. Like I think men and women are more similar to each other than different. I think that the way that they set up relationship dynamics are incredibly adversarial. They always make them sound like if somebody's winning, somebody's losing.
Yeah, I agree with
the
that.
idea that women are only after like resources and looks, and they're hypergamous and they're going to upgrade constantly, and alpha fucks and beta bucks and like all this shit. Like I don't know. I disagree with almost all of that.
Yeah, I agree with most of
What is the last thing that he said? I'm just taking
alpha fucks, beta bucks. So it's the idea that in a relationship, like if there's a marriage, the beta guy's paying for all her shit, but she's not sleeping with him. She's sleeping with some like 25-year-old bad boy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that the wife is sleeping?
Yeah, that like the wife is not respecting. So there might be like a rich dude and he's married to the girl, but she's not fucking him. He's secretly cheating on him and fucking the 25-year-old pool boy.
I do agree with that. I agree with that quite, like, at least around here. Maybe not middle America, but around these parts, yes. Like, the cougar game is real. They called me Mama Mel for a reason.
Okay.
Like, especially out in OC, I think it's the land of the milfs out here. These women have a lot of money. And I'm not referring to myself. I'm talking about a lot of money in this, like, Newport Coast, all this area, yeah. But probably, I think that's the thing that I have issues with Myron, and even, he's my dear friend, but Adam, is, like, when they talk about, like, oh, these men they're so happy, and single men are so happy because they have made all this money and effed all these women and have no children and are just living the bachelor life and going out into Miami bar scene and meeting, you know, mamacitas all day and whatever, driving their fast cars. And I'm like, yeah, for the tiniest percent of the population, like, most of the country does not live like that, does not have access to women, cars, money, cash like that. It doesn't happen. These men are alone and they're not happy. So I feel like a lot of the red pill stuff has been crafted for these coaches and these online personas that are like, yeah, like, it's so cool to be me, and you should. I don't know. I just think some of it is ridiculous to me.
I would argue, even for the coaches, it's not the best life. It's very shallow. I don't feel like it's like fulfilling on the inside. Like, it's all superficial stuff. It's like car, you know, status symbol, boat, you know, hot chick. It's fine. I've slept with a lot of random girls, but I do find being in a relationship that's happy and loving is more fulfilling. And
Correct.
focusing on something other than materialistic things is makes me happier. Like just buying a bunch of shit and sleeping with random girls that I don't really like. So I would argue that it's not even that great for the coach.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are the things, and I feel it is detrimental to put this out there on social media like that and have these young, impressionable, like Fresh and Fit's audience, I think is younger personally. I mean, every time I've been on the show, it didn't do really anything for me. I get a bunch of stupid DMs that I didn't answer. I have gotten some clients from men who actually have money and can invest in my retreats and programs, etc. But for the most part, I think it's a very young audience, and I think it's a disservice to them. Not the stuff about getting your credit right, and working on your body, and going to the gym and disciplining. That stuff's great, obviously. But the other stuff, like, that you have to be, F all these women, you can only do this, and you have to, like, create this lifestyle, and only then will you be happy. And it's like, I think if you really sat down and took this, and this is stuff I did agree with Melina on, that all the superficial stuff is bullshit. Like, I do agree with her on that. Like, if you took all that stuff away from these people and really sat them down, it's like, are you happy? I think most of them would say a solid no. That's just my personal, thoughts. But who am I?
So you were talking about how you kind of agree with the alpha fucks, beta bucks. Did you say you agree with it just for a small percentage of males, or do you think that's a general rule?
I think that if women had access to young, hot men that are around this area, like that are, same thing, like in LA, everyone's trying, I don't live in LA, but it's close enough. Everyone's trying to make a buck and pay their overpriced rent, right? So I think that they're looking for a paycheck, and I think that if women had accessibility to men like is out here in LA and OC and stuff like that, that it would probably be more predominant. Like, they
do have access to those men through Instagram. They have an Instagram profile, and she's semi-attractive. There's young guys sliding in her DMs saying, "Oh my God, you're so hot." So the access is there with technology.
Most of the affairs that women have, though, if you look at the research, is emotional. Now it is moving over into physical, but because before the stats usually were more pointed that men were stepping out more physically and having sex versus women were having emotional affairs. And that is still the case, but it's very quickly shifting. Obviously, as we know, 304 culture, it's so cool to F around and to do all this stuff, whatever. So I do think that, yeah, you're right. There is access to that. I don't know. I haven't done the stats on like what's really going on in middle America, but I do feel like women are obviously, it's hypergamy. Am I saying that right? Hypergamy, right?
Uh-huh.
Women are typically looking for the best man to provide for them. Now, does that mean that they're necessarily always in love with them? I don't know. But I would say probably 50-50 no. They have love for them, for giving them a good life and giving them kids that are going to be taken care of. But really, they're looking to get pounded by, Chad or whatever. Or is it Tyrone? Tyrone, not Chad. Sorry. My bad.
Oh, what? Access to hot... Well, access to high young man, is that what she said? Wait, what do you mean? Like, in terms of what? I think just recently she was talking about social media and not giving women access to more men. I think that's pretty much what she said. Look at this guy here. Adaptive Nim. Hey, I want to offer you a promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, chatbots. Chatbots are free, bro. The price is lower than any competitor. Quality is guaranteed to be the best. Auto on, incredibly flexible and convenient order management panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it on, off, or customize. Go to doghype.com. No one goes to that website, please. Yeah, that. Oh, okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure she was talking about in terms of like social media giving women more access to men outside their area. I'm pretty sure that's what she was talking about. But let me see. I'll go back a little bit.
Probably be more predominant, like.
They do have access to those men through Instagram. They have an Instagram profile, and she's semi-attractive. There's young guys sliding in her DMs saying, "Oh my God, you're so hot." So
and this is stuff I did agree with Melina on, that all the superficial stuff is bullshit. Like, I do agree with her on that. Like, if you took all that stuff away from these people and really sat them down and was like, are you happy? I think most of them would say a solid no. That's just my personal, thoughts, but who am I?
So you were talking about how you kind of agree with the alpha fucks, beta bucks. Do you say you agree with it just for a small percentage of males, or do you think that's a general rule?
I think that if women had access to young, hot men that are around this area, like that are, same thing, like in LA, everyone's trying, and I don't live in LA, but it's close enough. Everyone's trying to make a buck and pay their overpriced rent, right? So I think that they're looking for a paycheck, and I think that if women had accessibility to men like is out here in LA and OC and stuff like that, that it would probably be more predominant. Like,
they do have access to those men through Instagram. They have an Instagram profile, and she's semi-attractive. There's young guys sliding in her DMs saying, "Oh my God, you're so hot." So the access is there with technology.
Most of the affairs that women have, though, if you look at the research, is emotional. Now it is moving over into physical, but because before the stats usually were more pointed that men were stepping out more physically and having sex versus women were having emotional affairs. And that is still the case, but it's very quickly shifting. Obviously, as we know, 304 culture, it's so cool to F around and to do all this stuff, whatever. So I do think that, yeah, you're right. There is access to that. I don't know. I haven't done the stats on like what's really going on in middle America, but I do feel like women are obviously, it's hypergamy. Am I saying that right? Hypergamy, right?
Uh-huh.
Women are typically looking for the best man to provide for them. Now, does that mean that they're necessarily always in love with him? I don't know. But I would say probably 50-50 no. They have love for them, for giving them a good life and giving them kids that are going to be taken care of. But really, they're looking to get pounded by, Chad or whatever. Or is it Tyrone? Tyrone, not Chad, sorry.
Appreciate that,
Tyrone
Jen.
is the black
Have a good
version
day.
of Chad, basically. But yeah. Destiny, you have any thoughts on that?
I thought those were the same. I thought Chad was the more nerdy and Tyrone was like the like.
No, it's the both really good looking group. One of them is white, one of them there's fucking Chang is the Asian one. I don't know. They have all this weird shit. But anyway, let's let Destiny respond.
I mean, I don't agree with any of that stuff, but I don't even know where I'm supposed to start.
Well, just start wherever you think. I mean, there's something she's
I think when women are looking for relationships, I think they're generally looking for people that are relatively stable, are relatively clean, can like obviously provide some extent of like good life and everything. Like I don't think I think once you're past like your early 20s of like being a dipshit, which like women and men are, I think you're generally looking for these traits in a relationship more than just like the Chad bad boy that's gonna fuck you into the bed.
Yeah, but I think a lot of times women are not getting their sexual needs met, especially if they've gone older and more someone who's definitely more like older and has more money. A lot of times if the woman's younger, there's an imbalance in like sex drive. Even blue pill, all that stuff only does so much. So I think that often, this is just what I've seen personally. So I don't know about the rest of the world, that a lot of these women out here, they're already provided for, they already have kids, they're already good to go, but then they're out, looking to get that whatever, or even if it isn't just ass, looking to feel like they're being swept away in that excitement because stable guy is boring and he's providing for them. I'm not saying all the time. I'm saying I do think that this is a new agenda that we're seeing that's happening. And I think this is why people get so frustrated with relationships today. It's like the guy's providing for them, but they're sleeping with someone else, or they're seeking, something different, something more exciting. I don't know. I think it's you do have to take into consideration that America is very big and there's a lot of outliers, and then there's kind of the general consensus of the Midwest, the South, and things like that, where things are quite different than they are in Miami and California.
Yeah, that's true. Let me ask this question, guys. I think unless you want to respond with something, Destiny.
No, I mean I disagree with everything. I don't even know. I'm good.
Well, let me ask this question because I think it's going to actually kick off the discussion. In terms of being attracted to women, what percent would you give looks, money, and game? And I'm not asking for a specific percentage. I know it's hard to just the ballpark. Like, how important do you think are looks? How important do you think is money? And how important is game out of 100%? Like, for example, for me, I would probably give looks 40%, game 50% and money 10%, right? That's kind of my breakdown. So what is your breakdown?
I mean, there's going to be thresholds to it. Like money is not, I don't think money is as important as people say it is, but like if you live with your parents and you're like 35, then.
Okay, assuming, I'm going to add qualifier,
Yeah.
assuming you meet the bare minimum threshold. Like you don't live with your
as long
parents,
as you've got like decent
probably
minimum thresholds. Yeah, I think like if we say game is like your word for like personality and charm.
personality, charisma, charm.
That's going to be like at the bare minimum, I think that's going to be 50%.
Yeah.
What about for the other ones, Destiny?
10 to 20 for looks, 10 to 20 for money. But I think that the personality part is going to be for getting a relationship and then holding it together. I think it's going to be by far the most important thing.
Okay, so then the personality part is like 70% for you because that otherwise the math doesn't add up.
Yeah. That's why I said it'd be at least 50%.
Okay, I got it. All right, Jennelle, what's your breakdown?
Is this just for me personally, or what I feel women are saying?
You can give both answers.
For me personally, it's quite different than other women. Women typically go for money first. I'm not that way. I'll always make some money, not a lot, but enough to live the life and travel and do everything I want to do. So for me, money is not that important. Clearly, I dated a barber who was 15 years younger than me, who made $50,000. So like, whatever. So money is going to be probably least, but it's still important. So I would say looks is going to be main thing because I believe that sexual polarity fades the quickest, and that's the biggest deciphering factor whether a relationship's going to work. So looks is going to be huge, but also personality, and then the last little chunk would be money. So I'd say like maybe like 75%, split that up, half would be looks and personality, and the last would be money. 25 money is
okay, so 35% looks, 35% personality, and 40% looks, 40% personality, and 20% money. Is that correct?
Something along that. Yeah, your math's better than mine. For women, I think it's the antithesis today. I feel like money is the main thing, is huge. I think looks is pretty close thereafter, and then I think personality is last.
Okay, yeah. I think me and Destiny would both hardcore disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, the debate seems to be like kind of nearing up, so I feel like I can get involved a little bit. But I would disagree with that. I've been doing coaching for 5 years. I've coached. I've never coached someone who's poor because they can't afford my coaching, but I've coached middle class. I've coached really rich guys, like super rich guys, like dudes who have millions and millions of dollars. And I have now found any kind of correlation between money and being successful with women. Now, what money can get you is sugar babies, right? You can get yourself a sugar baby with money, but typically those relationships are unfulfilling for most guys. Like they typically want to have a real relationship. But when it comes to getting a real relationship, I find money to be, if you meet the threshold, it is important to meet the threshold. If you live with your parents, that's going to be a huge disadvantage. But if you're like going from middle class to upper middle class, from upper middle class to rich, the advantage is like very minuscule. Looks and game will make a huge advantage. Yeah, if you go like if you're kind of fat and you lose weight, that will be a big advantage. If you're skinny and you put on muscle, that'll be a big advantage. Right? If you have a receding hairline like me, get hair transplant, that will help. And of course, if you improve your personality, improve your game, that will help. But the money part, I think, is the least important for the vast majority of women.
Oh, but yeah, I definitely disagree with you on that. Let's get into it another time for sure. Why? But yeah, for sure. Since we're nearing the end, but I definitely think we could do a whole debate on that one.
Dustin, you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree. I think that the personality type is going to that's why you see people like Zerka, who doesn't really have money, kind of Cotter maybe, like he can clean shop because he's got a really good personality for getting laid. And it's why you've got a lot of wealthy people that are like alone, don't really know what to do with their life. A lot of them like, bro, I'll see guys post on Insta forums. This all the time. There are guys that will post on Insta forums that are like 6'2", like attractive guys that are like, I just can't get women, and they're like blaming their looks or their money. And it's like, bro, your personality is probably just dog shit.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you guys on that, but I'm saying what women want. Women are looking, they want a personality, yeah, but more importantly, they want to know that they're going to be provided for and their lifestyle is going to be met and that their children are going to be provided for.
Yeah, but you can do that with like a decent income. You don't have to have like a 6-figure guy or a millionaire to do that.
All right, Destiny, tell me if you agree or disagree with this. For me personally, I've been poor, semi-poor, like not real poor, but semi-poor, and I've been like top 5%. My dating results did not change at all when I got way more money. In fact, I would say they went down because I have less time to pick up girls because I'm working more. Would you say, now clout is different, but taking clout aside, like how much of an impact do you think your money just money, not clout, has made on your dating career?
I mean, for me, that's going to be really hard to disaggregate. Like, I dated through high school, and I obviously I had a kid before I was ever a streamer. But but I mean, like, when it comes to measuring my life now, like, I do a lot better now than I used to before. I'm sure like clout and money definitely helps, but like I'm also a way better.
Clout helps. I don't know how much money helps.
Yeah, maybe, but like I'm also like I'm 34 now compared to being a 20-year-old like lanky geeky fucking loser. I mean, like I was decent when I was in high school, but like my people skills and everything are a million times better now too. So I mean, it's gonna be hard to figure that out, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be dishonest for me to try to answer that. I don't think to try to figure that out would be really, really difficult. I did okay in high school, like I said. Like
money has been just like not at all like significantly beneficial. Maybe like a 10% difference between being like broke and being top 5%, but not a significant difference.
Sure.
At all. Like putting on muscle made way more of a difference. Learning game made way more of a difference. Learning to slow down my speech made more of a difference. Meditation and learning not to be anxious made more of a difference. So yeah, for me, it's been like just, I wish money played a bigger role because I have a good amount of money now. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad that you're meditating. I approve this message.
Okay. Well, anyway, we can get into like
to the Maldives. You'll love it. We do meditation every morning.
Oh, okay. I'm not that into it, but yeah, 5 minutes a day, I'm down. Let's just go into closing thoughts then, because it seems like you guys kind of.
I have to pee. Is what I have to do. Those are my closing thoughts. No, I just want to say thank you guys for. Destiny, for taking time out of your very, very filled schedule of streaming and debating. I think we had some great debates tonight, so I appreciate your energy. And Alex for hosting and moderating and just spelling my name wrong. I still love you though, but
I'll fix it.
And yeah, no, I appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Jennelle. Take it easy.
Yeah.
All right, Destiny, you got any closing thoughts or anything you want to comment on?
I feel like we probably disagree on literally every single possible topic. I'm like 55% sure that I think her entire business is probably built around scamming people around the misinformation she spreads around these topics. So we probably literally disagree on literally every single possible thing. But yeah.
Oh yeah, well that is a pretty strong claim.
That is a very strong claim. You can check my websites. I have 2 of them, and there's hundreds of reviews from real life people. I've worked with some.
Destiny. Why do you say was that a joke? Or do you actually believe
everything she said about like sex sounds like the worst advice or worst takes I've ever heard around, especially for someone that's supposed to be like a tantric sex coach. Like I don't know, it's just kind of wild to me.
But this is science. It's modern sexology. Again, I think this is for another debate. But yeah, you can definitely check my work. I wouldn't be around if I was scamming people, obviously. So I work with way too many people all over the world for that to happen. Some very influential people at that. So, but yeah, sorry you feel that way, but it's all good. It's not for everyone. And the modern man, the average man who's not in control and doesn't know how to master sexual energy will probably think that. But yeah, I get it.
I'll remember that the next time I have a fight or flight orgasm. Okay.
Look at that, though, my dear. That's interesting. I'm gonna aim at that.
I wrote down in my notes. I want to touch on this. If you gotta go pee, Jennelle, just feel free.
Yeah, I do. I gotta go. But are you guys you're still going, or what's happening?
I'm just gonna talk to my chat for like 10-15 minutes.
All right, cool. Do I just exit out of here?
Yeah, you can just exit out.
Okay. Enjoy your fight or flight, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, take it easy, Jennelle. Damn, dude, you fucking saved your strongest claim for like the very end.
Well, I mean, it's just based on everything she said. Like I think she read some Tony Robbins, found a way to scam people sexually, and then yeah, like every single thing she said regarding sex is like the worst takes I've ever heard in my entire fucking life about anything. So
yeah. When it comes to relationships, I was actually talking a lot to the chat. I do much more agree with like what you were saying about relationships. I like using my parents as an example. My parents were married for 25 years. They got divorced, blah, blah. But the biggest issue they had in their relationship was that my dad would always tell my mom what to do. He'd be like, do this. He kind of took that red pill approach. Yeah. And all that happened, my mom would just slowly build resentment, like a little bit of resentment. She went along with it because she's like very kind of like nice and sweet. But she built resentment, and it got to a point where that resentment started spilling over, and then she walked away, right? And the biggest issue that she had was that she just didn't like being told what to do. I think people in general, outside the bedroom, don't like being told what to do. And so I think the reason my dad is like now in a much healthier relationship is he kind of learned from his mistakes. He's like more like chill about it. But I think the only real way to deal with this is number one, is find a partner who's very compatible with you, so you don't have that many disagreements in the first place, and someone who's looking for the same thing as you. Like, if your girlfriend is looking to have a kid and you just want to like chill out, like that you're not gonna like fucking.
That debate was profound as hell. I kind of didn't really have a chance to stop and pause and do all the extra stuff because they were just talking, making good points and whatnot. That was pretty dope. But before we take a